center of the envelope. Bring our guides in, loosen up the two locks. Brings our guides in. Lock it here. Same thing on this side. Just leave a little clearance for the envelope. Lock it. Take a small stack. Fan them out. Start them underneath the yellow rollers. This is the hardest part of the machine, understanding the fanning. When we fan them out, we want the stack height of the envelopes to be uniform. And the way that's done is even with the top of this guide. You could be above the guide as long as when you push down, you're even with the bend line in metal side guide. Continue to fan them out until it's loaded. We'll come to the front of the machine. Now we're going to set up, this shows all the lengths of the envelope. We're going to set up for number 10 to number 10. And the top of the guide is going to go to number 10 here. The top of our support rail is going to go right even with that. These are starting points, not gospel. We'll lower the other side down, do the same thing to number 10. Raise it up so it can be just visually level. Now what I'll do is turn on the machine. I'll lift the jogger up just to allow the stock to come through. Then I'm going to take my hand and put it up in the front and act like the stop plate of the press. This is the electric eye that's going to maintain that height where the envelope comes up to the top of the guide here. We got our two springs here that hold the envelope down, and these hold it up against the stop plate of the press. No matter how long or short the envelope is, it's going to maintain that. So putting my hand up front here, I'll let the stock maintain till it shuts off, which it's done now, and you can see how the envelopes look. The rail should always be behind the lead edge of the stock. What I'm going to do is just either raise or lower either side. What I want is the front of the envelope to the back of the envelope, just on this side to be level. I don't care what the other side is. But right now, that's what I'm looking for. I've got a nice stack of envelopes that will keep up with the speed of the press. At this point, I'll shut the feeder off. Come back here. Load the feeder up. The rest of the way before I start to bring it into the press or start running. This will ensure that I can keep things going, get the press set up and not run out of envelopes. Now as we've done this, like I showed you before, you push down on the envelopes that were below the top of the guide to the bend line. That's the way the fanning should be. To check if you're overloading or not is you can push behind these yellow backstop rollers and there should be some give. If it's hard as a rock, you're fanning not enough. If they're real cushy, you're fanning too much. It's not very hard to get the fanning down. So at this point we're set up. Now we'll go ahead and show you how it rolls into the press. What we have mounted on here is our centering bracket. It centers the feeder every time into the press on the 524. This will maintain it every time you roll it in. Two screws attached to this. If you need microlateral adjustment, you come here, adjust these two screws will give you microlateral adjustment. Now we'll show you rolling up into we remove the two Phillip head screws and remove the blower assembly. Put the screws and the springs to the side. This will give us our clearance that we need. We don't need to have this assembly mounted to the press to run the envelopes. So we're just going to pick it up and move it out of the way, secure it so it doesn't bother anything. Now we can roll the feeder into the press. Side guide, adjusting it up onto the press to where the silver sheet separators are right up the top of the gate. Now he's putting on the front plate to keep the envelopes from getting caught between the opening between the gate and the guide. Tightens it up. We've already removed the blowers with the two Phillips head screws underneath. And now we're going to put the bracket on for the foot to pile from raising. This little bracket set Now we're going to get ready to roll the feeder into the press. Here's where the centering bracket works. Right here, it's going to push and hold the feeder securely. When it rolls in, you'll hit up against there, and then we have locking wheels. They lock the feeder from rolling forward or back. At this point, I'll turn the feeder on, and what I want to do is I want to have that jogger just bumping the stock a little bit by cranking it forward, giving it a small little bump. That's all I want to do. Now, I'll raise the feeder up by loosening the 2 knobs back here. I'll bring the feeder up to where the top envelope is just about even with the top of the guide there, your stop plate. Now at this point, I'll bring the feeder head back and set it for the proper length, like if you were running the envelopes without the feeder.
Money in the bank?
Money in the bank.